Well, after watching the congressional speech the other night, I've had enough. I don't usually post videos like this, but I've had enough of the bullshit from the Democratic Party. I absolutely believe that these people are sick. Some of them, I truly believe, should be put in jail, prison. Um, I don't know if any of the people watching this video watched the congressional speech the other night. You had a young 13-year-old black boy, brain cancer, almost died, still may die. There's no guarantee of one more day or 6 more months for that child. And he's brought into the building with his father. And Donald Trump praises this young man and makes him an honorary, I believe, a Secret Service agent, or maybe it was an FBI agent, one of the two. You had Nungarie, the mother, whose daughter was sexually raped under an overpass, if I'm not mistaken, in Texas. And then these pieces of shit, these illegal immigrants who Joe Biden let in, after they had their way with this young girl, they killed her and disposed of her body like it was a piece of trash. What about Laken Riley and her mother? Those two women don't get to see their children anymore. They're gone. They'll never see them again. It's appalling the amount of crime that the illegal immigrants who have been led into this country by the Biden administration have done to innocent American people. I don't care if the illegal immigrants are from China, Russia, Japan, Ecuador, Brazil, Mexico, Canada. I don't care what country they're coming from. There's a way to legally enter this country, and you have to follow the rules that are in place. When you have people trying to come into this country the legal way, and it takes them years and years and years to get in and gain their American citizenship, and then you have people that are coming up to the border while Biden wasn't running this country, and we're letting them in, we're paying for their penises to get removed and get breasts put on, fake breasts, at my money, my taxpayer money. That's enough. The Democratic Party has absolutely lost their touch with the civilized, normal American citizen. It's disgusting. They didn't even clap for these people at the congressional speech that Donald Trump gave. It's mind-blowing. I don't care what party you're in. I don't care if you're the Democratic Party, the Blue Party, I don't care what label you want to put on it. I don't care if you're a Republican. As a human being, any person who has some civility within themselves should be able to stand the fuck up and clap for a 13-year-old child who's got brain cancer and doesn't know when he's going to die. He may live a long, prosperous life. We don't know. And then the two mothers that lost their children, and these disgusting Democratic people sit. They don't applaud. They wear pink for this congressional meeting to honor women. Here we have a fucking woman who got smoked by a volleyball, smacked into her head by a biological man. It caused paralysis on her face that will never leave, and brain damage. And the Democratic Party finds this to be acceptable. It makes no sense to me how they want to wear pink and defend women's rights. I don't know exactly what they wanted to do with all the bullshit pink clothing they wore. But they want to defend women, and you've got a woman who could have lost her life on this volleyball court. And now she's got paralysis and they can't stand up and applaud this woman. But they want to defend women's rights, but allow men to be in sports, allow men to use their bathrooms, their dressing rooms, change in front of them. It's disgusting. I'll say this. If I had a young daughter who was in sports, or I don't, but if I had a young daughter, 8, 9, I don't care if my daughter was 52. If my daughter is in a restroom, in a public restroom, anywhere in this country, from Alaska to Florida to Hawaii to Maine, and I don't care what the rules state in that state that I might be in. I don't care what your rules are. I don't care that your rules say that a man can go into the women's restroom. If that's your rules, I'm not cool with it. But the second I see one of these sick pieces of garbage, a biological man go into the restroom while my daughter or my wife, my mother, some woman that I love or have compassion and feelings for, and they go into that restroom while I'm there and I see them, I'm going to play the tooth fairy. That's what I'm going to identify as. They want to identify as a woman or a man. I can identify as the tooth fairy. Now, secondly, what's really, really bothering me is how you have all of these people on the left, the Democrats, screaming that Elon Musk is stealing the taxpayers' money. Do people not realize that this motherfucker's going to be worth $1 trillion? He's worth almost $500 billion. This man couldn't spend enough money in his lifetime before it's gone. He would literally to get rid of all of the money that this man has, stocks, whatever, wherever his money's invested in. If he liquidates all of his assets, he would literally have to give money away to run out of money. It doesn't matter how many mansions or sports cars, Lamborghinis, I don't give a shit what the man buys. He's not going to run out of money. And you have these people sitting at a congressional meeting, a speech that Donald Trump gave, holding these stupid ass signs. Elon Musk steals, don't steal from Medicaid, and it's absurd how you can think that a man that's worth close to $500 billion, let me say that again, $500 billion fucking dollars is concerned about maybe stealing a couple $1 million. I mean, the man could go out and spend $1 million on a car tonight and go home and sleep soundly without even worrying that he spent $1 million on a car. And we're going to worry about Elon Musk stealing. I don't care. I don't care if they think he's going to steal $6 billion. The man's worth, I want to say, about $420 billion. He's pushing $500 billion. And my guess is that probably in the next 10 years, 15, 20 years, before he dies at least, he will be the first man to make $1 trillion. He'll be the first trillionaire. So, the Democratic pity party, you can piss off. I don't care. Tampon Tim. This man wants to run as the vice president with Kamala Harris and wants to put tampon fucking machines in men's bathrooms. What am I gonna do with a tampon? Am I gonna shove it up my ass? There's nothing I can do with a tampon. It's absurd. You want to teach this CRT bullshit to my child? You want to tell my child and read books to him and hang your queer flags, these LGBT flags, and all this stuff and rub it into my child's face? And tell my child when the parents aren't around that it's okay if you want to grow, for instance, my daughter, the parents aren't around and now you're the adult in the classroom and you want to tell my daughter that if your parents don't want you to be a boy, it's still okay? I've got news for you. Over your dead body and mine, will anybody ever tell my child that they can be the opposite sex? Now, I'm not a religious person by any means. I love my Lord and Savior, absolutely. I believe in God. I believe in His Son, Jesus Christ. We'll save that for another day. But it's astonishing to me that you have people that want to run this country. Thank God they did not get elected. That think it's okay or to normalize putting tampons in a men's restroom or allowing a 6'5" man to come into the restroom, the woman's restroom, a biological man. I got to be specific with all this shit nowadays. But for a biological 6'5" man, 6'9", a 5'2" man to come into the restroom while my wife or daughter is in there. You got me fucked up, pal. It'll never happen. I don't care if California says it's legal. Illinois, all these lunatic states, Illinois, New York, Massachusetts, California, Hawaii, New Jersey. I don't give a shit what laws you make. A man with a penis walks into the restroom while my wife or my daughter, my mother, or any woman that I love or care about walks into that bathroom while they're in there. Like I said, I'll be the tooth fairy. And that's what I'll identify as. So, for the Democrats that may watch this video, and you want to leave your bullshit negative comments, oh, he's a MAGA Trump supporter and smelly Walmart, whatever you whack jobs think of. I make a good living, pay my own bills. I probably won't die and retire a multimillionaire, nor do I care. I'm happy in my life. I'm happy knowing that Donald Trump is now running this country with Vance underneath of him. I'm happy knowing that when I go into a restroom now, there won't be tampons in there. I'm happy knowing that the teachers aren't going to be hanging rainbow flags and shoving it into my child's face every day when they show up at school, or telling my child that they can be whatever sex or gender they want to be. We're made in God's image when you're born. God accepts every person. There's absolutely no reason a teacher needs to convince my child to go to a doctor and try to get his penis or her breasts removed because of my teacher's ideological thoughts or thinkings. I'm the parent. I make the final decision. Something else that really bothers me is the whole border thing. For all you fucking protesters that want to protest in Los Angeles and all these big cities, you want to wave a fucking Mexican flag, you can wave whatever you want, a flag from whatever country you want. It's your legal right to do so. That's what makes this country great. We can all have our own opinions, and we can express them without worrying about reprisal from our government. But with that said, if you want to come to America as a Mexican or a Brazilian or from Peru, Venezuela, Colombia, I don't care what southern country in America you come from. You come to this country, and now you're upset because Donald Trump is taking away your Section 8 housing, or he's limiting it to so many months. Whatever bullshit you want to protest, you want to wave the Mexican flag in our country, why don't you go back to Mexico? But you won't. You'll sit in America where you're much happier and you're free and you have rights. And you'll protest America in America and wave the Mexican flag for the country that you don't want to go back to. So, fuck you. Fuck the horse you rode in on. And with Elon Musk, I don't know if anybody's, well, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of this. So I've done a lot of looking into stuff. I've gotten on the Doge.gov website. Anybody aware that Pete Buttigieg, our Secretary of Transportation under Biden, wanted to get rid of all of our male crash test dummies. And he requested, while he was in office, $20 million to get female crash test dummies. Because, if we do a test in a semi-truck or a private vehicle, we got to make sure that those dummies have breasts, because otherwise the test may fail. What about Peru? I think it was Peru. $45,000 to start a fucking transgender comic book. What does the taxpayer benefit from in America sending $45,000 to a country that we don't give a two shits about? 45 grand? Any answers from you lunatic Democrats that may watch this video? What about 20 million? Everybody's heard of this. 20 million to Iraq for a Sesame Street. What about $35,000 to Ireland for a transgender musical or an opera, something along those lines? What about, I want to say it was the country of Brazil, and don't quote me, and I'm 50-50 chance it was Brazil. It was one of those countries in South America, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was 6.5 million to study how fast shrimp can run on a fucking treadmill. Mm-hmm. And then when you tell this to Democrats, they say, I'm making this up. I'm making all this up. And if it's posted on the Doge.gov website, it's all lies. There's thousands of these expenditures that we sent to these foreign countries for the most bullshit reasons. And the Democratic Party, the people that I know that are Democrats that I brought this up to, tell me I'm lying. The website's lying too. We're all liars. We're just making this up. I got nothing better to do than just make up silly stories about shrimp running on a treadmill for $6.5 million. Or I think Nancy Mace, the Republican senator, I believe she said we spent something like $10 million to study the effects of the date rape drug on transgender mice. Why doesn't Donald Trump, why doesn't Donald Trump start a survey and spend $50 million on why most of the cars in the United States when purchased are white? I mean, it's true, But does anybody give a fuck? I don't. I don't give a shit what color car you're driving or what color car and why you bought it. I could care less. Elon Musk is doing what we should have done decades ago. Obama, when he got elected, if you go into YouTube and watch some of his speeches, he's talking about cutting government waste. Billions of it. Democrats didn't scream or say a fucking word about it, did they? No. Let's switch topics. Remember the Russian laptop computer? It was a Russian hack job, the Hunter Biden laptop? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fake, remember? Remember when the Democrats told Zuckerberg of Facebook to limit Republicans in their conversations in regards to this so-called fake computer that Hunter Biden had, that it was Russian disinformation on this computer? I could go on for years about all the shit that they're saying. It's the Democrats have lost their minds. Now keep in mind, the American people in this country have spoken. Donald Trump had a landslide victory. He won all 7 swing states. Fuck Whoopi Goldberg. Fuck Sonny Houston. And fucking all these other lunatic leftists and liberals and the Democrats. I mean, Sonny Houston, she's on here raving about Trump's this evil, bigoted, Nazi, KKK, this, racist, that. He's so racist. And her own Sonny Houston's own husband has been indicted for medical kickbacks through Medicaid. And he's probably going to get convicted. And he's probably going to go to prison. You don't hear anybody on The View talking about their personal lives, do they? Do you? All you hear is Donald Trump, bad guy. Orange guy, bad guy. Orange guy, Nazi member. Orange guy, KKK. Orange guy, misogynist. Orange guy, bigoted. You know, the last time I checked, I think Adolf Hitler killed, he killed, between his own people, Russians, Italians, Americans, Indian, Canadian, British. I want to say World War II caused, 65 million deaths. And I want to say maybe 10 million of those was because that piece of shit named Adolf Hitler ordered his lynchmen to put them into ovens and to throw gas into so-called fake shower rooms and gas all these people. Donald Trump didn't do that. And he never will. Donald Trump isn't ordering the execution of Jews. He's not ordering the execution of retarded people or gypsies or black people or Russians or Australians or Chinese or Hungarian. He's not ordering the executions of anybody. Hitler did. But yet they want to compare this man to a man that spent, I think World War II started in 1939, ended in 1945. So it was a 6-year war for Germany. And he killed all kinds of people. Jesse Owens went to the Olympics in Germany before World War II. Adolf Hitler represented Germany over there. Jesse Owens won tons of gold medals. Adolf Hitler hated black men so much he couldn't even come out and shake Jesse Owens' hand. That's how much he hated black people, just as much as he hated Jews. And you think Donald Trump hates black people, huh? Anyways, listen, I'm going to make this video end. I'm going to make it short and simple. I need to get to bed here shortly. I think tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and identify as an air conditioner who's bisexual. and fluid. And I think the following day, I haven't made up my mind yet, but I think the following day I may identify as a mailbox. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Kamala Harris. That's all I got to say. Have a good one.